Welcome on into another episode of Picks on Net, NHL Picks and Stats. I'm your host, Terry Edelman, at TE Picks over on X, ready to break down the Saturday slate, 13 games on the Saturday slate. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the YouTube channel, and if you want all my premium plays for the Saturday slate, make sure to hit the join button on the YouTube channel, $4.99 a month, and we'll get you my entire Saturday betting card. Already have plays locked in, which I'm giving you out on the show. And then there's going to be for sure some plays that I add tomorrow morning. And then I also have an NHL best bet for Saturday, which is available on picksandparlays.net. But YouTube members will also get that, which I'll post in the post section on Saturday morning. But having said that, I guess we'll quickly recap Friday. Vancouver and the New York Islanders over 5.5, unfortunately lost. 4-1 win for the Canucks. The Islanders finally got a goal late, but wasn't enough. So they, unfortunately, the over loses. And then the Boston Fleet get their first loss of the season. The Minnesota Frost get the job done. There in that one. Bear with me for a second here. Sorry, actually, that game, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about that. I thought I better go and quickly check. It's actually 3-2 Minnesota in the third period. So the Frost has not lost yet. There's still time left in the third period. It was 3-0. So spoke a little bit out of turn there. 7 minutes left. Maybe the Frost can tie it up. Maybe the Fleet can tie it up for us. And then Dylan Guenther has not scored, but it is halfway through the second. So that game is flying by. 1-0 Utah in that game. So far, not the best Friday so far, but still some time here coming. Good vibes. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you. How are we doing, brother? Not too bad. Not the best night overall so far on Friday, but we'll see what happens. How about that comeback by Florida? Yeah, huge comeback. Huge comeback for them. Thank you, OG, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Terry, hey, Turnsy, how's it going? Long time no talk. Hope the Fleet tied up. Yes, definitely. And Stars 1-0. I'm actually happy to see this, as Dallas is my premium play over on picksandparlays.net. Dallas money line is my play on the site, so I'm really happy to see that. Will Mini finally break through this year? Well, they're in an incredibly tough division with Colorado and Dallas, but it all depends on what that next move Bill Guerin does. Does he go out and get a third line center that's not really going to make a difference? Or does he give Sidney Crosby a call and say, hey, come join us in Minnesota, come win a cup, because the Wild are a Sidney Crosby away from winning the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry, Penguins fans that watch the show. I know there are a few, and you're going to be angry with me. But come on, Sidney Crosby in Minnesota. That's what we need. It needs to happen. Fleury's still around. Bill Guerin, Crosby playing with Kaprizov. That would just be amazing. You've got it. Thank you, OG. I appreciate it. I had Aho and Rossi anytime goal parlay and Rossi. Oh no. Anytime goal parlays are hard. I don't really do them. I don't. Now, when I have goal scorers on a slate, like let's say I have 3 goal scorers on a slate, personally, yeah, I'll parlay a little bit on the 3, but very small amount. No. Crosby has not indicated that he wants to leave, but talks are that after the Olympics, if Pittsburgh continues to go with the way they have, he may be open to it. But we'll talk a little bit about Crosby coming up a little bit here shortly. not about trade talks, but we'll talk about him on the ice here in just a little bit. But start with the first game, which is the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. I believe this game is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern here on Saturday, and I see Anaheim has tied it up, so it's 1-1 early. Leaning towards the over there, so probably should have pulled the trigger on that. But Detroit plus 145 dogs, Washington minus 170 home favorites here in this one. How are these two teams doing recently? Well, the Red Wings had their 2-game win streak snapped with a 4-1 loss in Utah in their last game, 19-13-3, 9-6-2 on the road. Washington had their 3-game losing streak snapped with a 4-0 win against Toronto in their last game, 19-11-4, 11-5-2 at home. Previous games between these two teams, Washington 4-1 in the last 5 meetings, 3 overs, 2 unders, actually with a total of 5.5, 4 overs and 2 unders in previous meetings. When I look at this one here, I don't really want to get involved with the side here in this one. It looks like John Gibson is confirmed for Detroit. Logan Thompson unconfirmed. Goalie advantage goes to Washington. Home ice advantage with Washington. Previous history with Washington. But at minus 170 home favorites, I would have to take them in regulation here, which I'm just not really interested in doing at this point. As I said, and I'm sure other people are feeling the same thing, Saturdays in the NHL have been really rough for whatever reason for me and for a lot of other people. So not pulling the trigger on anything unless I really love it. Nothing here in this one. Looking at props here in this one, I don't believe I'm going to have many point props yet. But guys and goal streaks here for Detroit. Alex DeBrincat has scored in 3 of his last 5 games, plus 170. And he's also had success against Washington. Now, he had scored in 6 of 7 against Washington, but hasn't scored in 3 of 4. So, was really hot against the Capitals, but it's kind of cooled off here in the last few games. Nothing here for me in the first game of the day. Ducks answer 1-1. Yes. Thank you for keep me updated, Nicholas. I appreciate that. How do you expect the Wild to fit Crosby under the salary cap? He makes 8.7, and the Wild have just over $3 million. Well, they would have to get work out a deal where they could send somebody that is on the roster and make that financial difference. Maybe Pittsburgh eats some of that. I don't know. It would obviously not be easy, but if Bill Guerin can give up any prospect we have, any draft pick we have, and just get that done, he's the guy we need. Great call, JD, on the Dallas first goal. Oh, no. Oh, Stars 2-1. Never mind. Yes, good. Okay. I got that mistaken. Stars 2-1. Love it. Nice, Nicholas. I'm on a same game. First period over 1.5. Total over 5.5. That's off to a great start. But you needed to keep going because as we saw in the Islanders game, 3 goals in the first period. I thought that over 5.5 was going to go great, but unfortunately, that was not the case. But we'll move on along to our second game, which is the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers. The Flyers plus 110 road dogs. The Rangers minus 130 home favorites on a total of 5.5 here in our second game. No confirmed goalies here. Dan Vladar unconfirmed. Igor Shesterkin unconfirmed. Very similar numbers overall. 2.41 goals against average for Vladar, 2.49 for Shesterkin, 910 save percentage for Vladar, 9.909 for Shesterkin. So pretty similar numbers. Vladar, 12-5-3, Shesterkin 14-11-3. So Vladar and the Flyers have had more success than Shesterkin and the Rangers. looking at how these two teams are doing recently, here in just 1 second. The Philadelphia Flyers, 17, 10, and 6 on the season, 7, 5, and 2 on the road, but they've lost 4 or 5. 3 losses in overtime, a 4-1 win against Montreal, but then a 5-3 loss in their last game to Buffalo. The Rangers had lost 2 in a row at home, 4-1 to Anaheim, 3-0 to Vancouver, went off to St. Louis, got a 2-1 overtime win. Now they're back home. The Rangers 4-10-3 at home this season and continue to really struggle to score goals. They did score 5 in a 5-4 overtime win against Montreal, but really other than that, they've really struggled to score goals at home this year. The Flyers 3-1 in the last 4 meetings between the teams, 3 of the last 5 going over 6.5. I've not pulled the trigger on the Flyers as of yet, but I lean heavily here with Philadelphia. They've had a success against the Rangers in the past, and the Rangers is a favorite at home. I'm not sure exactly what the stats are, but the fact that their home record is 4-10-3, probably not too good. And I really lean here with the Flyers. I just don't like how their games have gone for them as of late. But somebody's got to win this game. And if I had to pick somebody, I like the Flyers. Just have not pulled the trigger on it yet. Not sure if I will get to it or not. I'll have to keep looking at it. Also might want to see who the goalies look like. Trevor Zegras had his goal streak snapped in his last game, but he still scored in 4 of his last 5, plus 250. Travis Konechny has scored in back-to-back games for Philadelphia, plus 230 here in this game. I'll go to the chat here. Thank you. Take a shot in the Flyers, fade New York at home. Yeah, that's where I lean. That's where I lean. We'll see if I can get to it, but just giving credit where it's due. That's always nice. Rangers are 3-7 as a home favorite. Wow. Okay. So 4-10-3, 3-7. Not as bad as I would think, actually, but still bad. Yes. Our next game is the Chicago Blackhawks and the Ottawa Senators. Chicago plus 220, road dogs. The Senators minus 270, home favorites, and a total 5.5 here in this one. Starting goalies here, I don't believe we have any. No, Spencer Knight unconfirmed, Linus Ullmark unconfirmed. Spencer Knight has the better stats slightly. Ullmark has the better win-loss record. Obviously, Ottawa a better team overall than the Blackhawks. If you remember, talking about this matchup earlier on in the season in Chicago, the Blackhawks getting a 7-3 win against the Senators. Chicago now 13-1-1 in the last 15 meetings between these two teams, despite the Chicago Blackhawks being a rebuilder now for 4+ years. They still beat the Ottawa Senators. The last 3 meetings all over 6.5, and the Blackhawks 16-2-2 in the last 18 meetings. 2 of the last 3 have gone to overtime, so we have had some close games between these two teams as of late. When I look at this game from a side perspective, pass. I think looking at this from how both teams are playing right now, Ottawa should get this win, but obviously they have won 3 of their last 4 games. Now, they beat Columbus, who's been losing a lot, lost to Minnesota, beat Winnipeg, who's losing a lot, losing tonight as well, and then beat Pittsburgh 4-0, which isn't a great win either. But the Blackhawks, they've lost 4 in a row. And have just not looked great. 3-2 to St. Louis, 4-0 to Detroit, 3-2 to Toronto, 4-1 to Montreal. I can't trust this Blackhawks team right now. Yeah, they've had a lot of success against the Senators, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bet on them. But will keep me off Ottawa puck line, which is how I would have to go if I was going to look at betting this game. But having said that, I do have a prop. Give me Brady Tkachuk anytime goal, half unit play here. So smaller play here, plus 135 for Brady Tkachuk to score a goal here. And this one, Brady Tkachuk has scored in back-to-back games for Ottawa and scored in his last game against Chicago, 2 of his last 5 overall against Chicago. Not a whole lot of success, but he scored in back-to-back games, 1 goal against Winnipeg, 2 goals against Pittsburgh, and he has 5 shots in 3 games in a row, 5 or more shots in 5 of his last 7. So Brady Tkachuk shoots the puck a lot. I do think Ottawa is going to outplay the Blackhawks in this game. So Brady Tkachuk anytime goal, plus 135. We'll see if he can score a goal here in this game. I know Tim Stützle only got 1 point in his last game, but he had multiple points in 4 games previous. So Tim Stützle could be a good look here, but I don't know if I want to go heavy in props if it is Spencer Knight. If it is Soderblom, then I would look at the over, or if they go with Brossoit, who I think is back in the mix. I'm not sure, but I think he's in the mix. So who knows what's going to happen here in goal for the Blackhawks. Second. Crazy how bad New York Rangers at home this season. Yeah. Really bad. Zegras Konechny point parlay. Yeah, I think that could be a good way to go. I think that's right. I would use Chicago team total under 2.5 as a parlay piece. Hawks can't score without Bedard. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree. That's right, JD. Good price for the plus 1.5. I like the over 5.5. Yeah, that could be a good way to go. That could be a good way to go. The over 5.5. The last 3 meetings have all gone over 6.5 between these two teams. Now, then, the only thing though is Chicago is not scoring a lot right now. So they're only in their last 4 games they've scored 2 goals twice, 1 goal once, 0 goals against Detroit, giving up 3 to 4 goals though. So if I was looking at the over, I would want Soderblom. If Soderblom's in net, then I think we could get to the over. Back in the AHL, he cleared waivers. Okay, thank you. Bertuzzi anytime goal for me. Might add Tkachuk too. Good pick. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I believe Bertuzzi has been one of the good Hawks recently. Hasn't scored in 4 games, but previous to that was hot. Had scored in 4 of 6. So best of luck here. But we will move on along to our next game, which is the Edmonton Oilers and the Minnesota Wild. The Oilers plus 100 road dogs, the Wild minus 120 home favorites, and a total of 6.5 here in this one. Philip Gustafsson confirmed for the Wild, 11-8-3, 2.49 goals against average, 9.12 save percentage, 3 shutouts. He's tied for second in shutouts in the NHL. Gustafsson has played very well. He's won 4 starts in a row, giving up 5 goals total in those 4 games. So he is playing very well. Edmonton, unfortunately, lost Tristan Jarry to injury, so it will likely be Calvin Pickard starting here. Pickard has given up 4 or more goals in 3 of the last 4 games he played in. He did not, and obviously the last game when he came in relief for Jarry, so didn't give up a goal there. But in his previous 3 games, he'd given up at least 4 goals in each one. The Wild 21-9-5 in the season, 12-3-4 at home. If Colorado didn't exist, the Wild would be the best home team in the NHL. They've won 6 games in a row. They're scoring 4.67 goals per game during that stretch and giving up 1.5 goals against. They've just been, since November 1st, the Wild 18-3-2, 12-5 in the last 17 games between these two teams. I hate to look like a homer again, but give me the Wild, minus 120. I do not think the Wild should be minus 120. They just shouldn't. They continue to be priced at these great prices, and we're not going to get this. This is going to move. The Wild are likely to get a few players back from injury here in this game, or a couple more will come back on Sunday against the Avalanche. So the Wild, who have been heavily ravaged by injuries, are going to be getting guys back. Zuccarello could come back. Brodin could come back. Johansson could come back. So some of the really important missing guys here could return for the Wild in this game. So now, looking at Edmonton, Edmonton has won back-to-back games in Minnesota. The road team has won 5 in a row between these two teams. So the Oilers did have some success in Minnesota last year. Now, the Wild were not the best home team last year. They are a much better home team this year. When it comes to the total, 5 overs and 2 unders. One game finished with 6 goals. So previous games have been high scoring. I would go with the Wild team total over if I was going to look towards an over here. Just because I don't trust Calvin Pickard. I think the Wild can get to 4 goals against him, as they've been scoring a lot during this win streak. And scored for us in the last game against Columbus. Now needed an empty netter, the second empty netter to get it done, but hey, still scored for us. And did not score in the game between these two teams earlier this year. 1-0 win for the Wild there. Shut out by Jesper Wallstedt in that game. But Boldy has had a lot of success against the Oilers. So Boldy scored in 3 games in a row, 5 of his last 7 overall. He's scoring a ton. 7 of his last 10 home games and 5 of his last 7 games against the Edmonton Oilers. So give me Boldy anytime goal. Now, I did see plus 138, I believe, is at Bet Rivers, or plus 134. You may get better odds on this if you wait till tomorrow. That's possible. But plus 125 is fine with me. Give me Matt Boldy anytime goal here in this one, along with Wild money line. If you are looking at the over, then play Ottawa team total over. Yeah, I agree with that. Hopefully Soderblom in net. Just seeing on Twitter that it looks like Jarvis could be out for a while. Oh no. That is bad news for the Hurricanes. Bad news. That sucks, yes. Not likely it will be. They will not be going with Connor Ingram. Or not likely it will be. They will not be going with Connor Ingram. Yeah. He's going to get a start eventually. No, let's see here. Oh, 3-1 Dallas. Perfect. Looking good there. Let's see here. I am sure that Edmonton has some back-to-backs. Now, do they have a back-to-back? Do they play Sunday? That is the question. Bear with me for a second. Things are a little bit slower because we're still on today. It takes me a little bit more time to get up the schedule and everything here. They do. Oh, this is wow. Okay. So Edmonton plays the Wild tomorrow, and then they're in Vegas, or they're at home against Vegas on Sunday. So it is a back-to-back. Now, then they play 2 days later against Calgary, and then they face Calgary again 4 days later, so a big break. So Ingram's probably going to get one of these 2 games. Do they put him against Minnesota, or do they put him at home against Vegas? Really, to me, it doesn't matter, Ingram or Pickard. The Wild. The Wild should be Voog, such a homer. Hey, I got the Wild jerseys there, but the Wild, let the numbers speak for themselves. Look at the numbers in this game. The Wild should be minus 150, minus 160 in this game. They should not be minus 120. They're in my price range. If I'm getting Wild money line below minus 130, I'm going to take it. Now, if they were minus 130 at home against the Avalanche, then I would pass. Now, if they're a dog against the Avalanche, we'll get to that for Sunday. But Oilers puck line and a goalie assist. Edmonton plus 1.5 at minus 245. Yikes. Brock Faber for a point. That is not a bad look whatsoever. I believe he now has a point in 3 games in a row. Since acquiring Quinn Hughes, it's really lit a fire under Brock Faber here. I'll speak with other goal scorers. So Zach Hyman has scored in 4 or 5, did not score in the last game, plus 220. Boldy and Kaprizov both on 3-game goal streaks. Boldy plus 140 I'm seeing now. Wow, so better odds. Kaprizov plus 105. Kaprizov has only scored. He hasn't had a lot of success against Edmonton. He has not scored in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games against the Edmonton Oilers. So, no, I will not be taking Kaprizov at plus 105 when he does not have success against the Oilers. He may very well score, but not going to take it there. Ryan Hartman is scoring 3 of 5 plus 420. You'll Eriksson 3 of 5 plus 220. And McDavid back-to-back games plus 170 for the Oilers. Brock Faber is what I was going to look at here. Brock Faber for a point. Yeah, a 3-game point streak since Quinn Hughes has come. All 4 of those points assists. So if you want to look at the assist prop for Faber, you'll probably get much better plus money there. Dostal just pulled with 5 minutes left in the first. We could see Dostal tomorrow. Wow. Okay, well, wow, 4-1 Dallas. Holy shit. Yeah, it's okay if I swear. But, if I get a YouTube strike, oh well, the world won't end. But wow, that's crazy. 4-1. Yeah, we could see Dostal tomorrow, which doesn't completely change my thoughts on the game, but we'll get to that at the end of I really lean with the over in that game. We'll get to it, but at minus 130 now, if Dostal might be in net after a really bad game, I'll have to reassess. Obviously, I've not pulled the trigger in that game because I wanted to see how tonight's game goes, and that was obviously a very, very good choice to wait. But we'll go back to the chat here. Quinn Hudson, Edmonton, anytime goal plus 850. Okay. Quinn Hudson. I saw that name around somewhere. There he is. Oh yeah, he scored in his last game against Boston. Plus 850. Not bad odds. Only getting 1 shot in net though, but hey, scored in his last game. Hi Terry, go Sabres. Hey Shawnee, and great segue into our next game, which is the New York we cannot score against the Vancouver Canucks Islanders. Plus 125 road dogs. No, I'm not salty at all about Friday night's game. The Buffalo Sabres minus 150 home favorites, and a total of 6 here in this game. Go Sabres. I would love to see the Sabres kick butt here. But David Riddick, 7-3-1 for the Islanders, 2.59 goals against, 904 save percentage. Alex Lyon, unconfirmed for Buffalo, 7-6-3, 2.99 goals against average, 903 save percentage. Has not been bad overall for the Sabres. And the Sabres team heads into this game playing very well on a win streak, all on the road, now coming back home. Overall, the Islanders 9-6-1 in the road. Buffalo 10-5-2 at home. So the Sabres have played very well at home. And I'm sorry, they returned home in the last game against Philadelphia, 5-3 win, and had won 3 previous on the road. So already had that first game home after a road trip. Luckily, they had 3 full days off So that helps. When you're looking at teams coming back from a long road trip, it's when they have to play, they get 1 day off. That's when it really sucks. But when you have 3 full days off, that kind of lets you get accustomed back to things. The Islanders have lost back-to-back games, 3-2 against Detroit, 4-1 against the Canucks. Previous games between these teams, Buffalo 3-2 in the last 5. 7 of the last 9 have gone under 5.5, but 2 of the last 3 have gone over 6.5. So lower scoring games longer term, but if you look at recent games, 2 of the last 3 have been higher scoring. I don't trust the Islanders to score. Looking at our previous games, 3 against Tampa, a 3-2 shootout win. So they only actually scored 2. 2 against Detroit, 1 against Vancouver. Now, before that, 5 against Anaheim, 5 against Vegas. So their offense was going really well. Buffalo on the other side, they lost to Calgary, but they still scored 4. Beat Edmonton 4-3, 3-2 against Vancouver, 3-1 against Seattle, 5-3 against Philadelphia. So the Sabres team is scoring goals right now. Now, when I look at the side here, the Sabres is minus 150 home favorites. Obviously, that is out of my price range, so I would have to go with Sabres in regulation, which I'm just not comfortable with doing that. If the Sabres were minus 120 or minus 115, I would likely be on Buffalo here in this spot. But I'm priced out of it here in this game. Now, that does not mean I won't be getting to any props, but waiting for odds for props here. We'll be looking at Josh Norris. If you've watched previous shows recently, you've heard me talk a lot about Josh Norris for good reason. Scored a goal in his last game, but his previous 5 games all assists. He's played very well. And it was a power play goal in his last game. So he now has a power play point in 5 of his last 6 games. Which, if you give me a second here, we'll go take a quick look at this Islanders penalty kill and see how it looks. Let's see here. I don't see it at the bottom. Oh, okay. So the Islanders penalty kill isn't too bad, actually. Let's see here. Let's see. Bear with me for a second. 11th overall, 81.8%. So not a bad penalty. The Buffalo Sabres actually have the best penalty kill in the NHL. So there you go. But not sure. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. Obviously, I have to see what the odds are for the power play point, but Josh Norris has been so great on that power play. So depending on what the point prop is, he has a point in 6, 7, 8 of his last 9 games. I think it's going to be like minus 130, so probably will be out of my range. I'll probably go with the assist because he has an assist in 5 of 6. So I'll probably go with Josh Norris assist is probably how I'm going to go here, but we'll want to see what the odds look like here. Looking at goal scorers here, Tage Thompson, 5 games in a row with a goal. I'm seeing him at around plus 125 to score. So not a lot of great value, but he's on a heater right now. Tage Thompson here in this game. Smiling. I have no idea what the heck I was thinking taking Islanders. Yeah. I'm not going to say the same thing about the over because, I don't know. They just didn't help out. Yes. Go Sabres, Shawnee. Go Sabres. Tage Thompson, anytime goal, baby, he's hot. Yeah, he is right now. He is. Simply ignore the fact of their injuries. Well, yeah, injuries hurt some teams not as well, not as much. But Tage is raging. Yeah, he's going great right now. Go over 6, Buffalo will get 5. Wow. Okay. I could see that. Josh is doing well. Yes, he's been playing very well. Going heavy on Buffalo props. I'm not going heavy on Buffalo props, but I intend on looking at them very deeply. Very deeply. I made good money on Buffalo props all season. And you should when they're a dog, but now minus 150 home favorite, we might lose some value on the props, but we'll see. That penalty kill is a lot with Bo playing the penalty kill. Okay. And yes, he has scored in 5 in a row. Yes. Look for OV points, anytime goal. Everyone watching will be watching Sid and competitive nature with these two. That's true, I guess. We'll be talking about Sid in the next game. Sabres team total over 3.5 plus 105. The Sabres have scored 4 plus and 11 of 15 wins, and the Isles have given up 4 and 12 of their last 15 losses. Wow. Or is that 12 of 15 losses overall? Wow, that's a lot. The Isles are 4-1 in the second half out of a back-to-back. That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. I'll take the loss for a playoff berth. I'm sure you would. Shawnee. And hey, the Sabres, the way the Atlantic Division is right now, they're definitely not out of it. Because that Atlantic Division is like anybody's game right now. If you're looking to make future bets and you feel like you have a good edge in that Atlantic Division, there's probably definitely some value there in that one. But moving on to this game, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Montreal Canadiens. Pittsburgh plus 125, road dogs. Montreal minus 150, home favorites, and a total of 6 here in this one. Looking at goalies here. Bear with me for a second. Do we have any? Let's see. No. Stuart Skinner unconfirmed. Jakub Dobeš unconfirmed here. And this one, very similar numbers overall. 2.92 goals against average for Skinner, 2.91 for Dobeš, 893 save percentage for Dobeš, 886 for Skinner. How are these two teams doing recently? Well, Pittsburgh is not playing well. They are giving up a ton of goals, and they had been scoring goals until their last game, which they got shut out in against Ottawa, 4-0 loss. Their previous 3 games, 6-4 loss to Edmonton, 5-4 overtime loss to Utah, 6-5 overtime loss to San Jose. So they can't stop the puck right now, but had been scoring previous to this game. The Montreal Canadiens alternating wins and losses, 3 4-1 games in a row. So 4-1 win against Edmonton, 4-1 loss to Philly, 4-1 win against Chicago. If they continue to alternate, this would be a loss, but I'm not taking Pittsburgh in this game. I will take the over 6 at minus 120. Or I got here at minus 120. Looking at previous games between these two teams, 2 of the last 4 have gone over 6. One of the ones that stayed under was a push for a total of 6. But if you look at these two teams overall, Pittsburgh's gone over 6.5 in 7 of their last 11 games. 2 of the games that stayed under finished with 6 goals. And Montreal, while a little bit trending towards the under in their more recent few games, they've gone over 6.5 in 17 of their last 26. And 2 of the games that stayed under finished with 6 goals. Pittsburgh, 6-1 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams. They have had a lot of success against Montreal. I don't necessarily know if Pittsburgh wins this game, but I do think they put up some offense here. And I do think Montreal puts up some offense. So give me the over 6 here in this game. And I also think we see history. Give me Sidney Crosby over 1.5 points. Now, I'm not sure what the odds are for this yet, as prior to the start of the show, point odds were not available. But I had already been planning on looking at this game for Crosby. And it actually works out better that he didn't get a point against Ottawa because betting him to get 1 point had he tied the record would have been great odds. But basically, Sidney Crosby is 1 point away from tying Mario Lemieux, Super Mario, for the lead in Penguins' all-time point list. So 1 more point, he ties Super Mario. 2 more points, and he beats him. Now he's here facing Montreal. Now his hometown team would technically be Halifax, but there obviously is no Halifax team. So this is the closest, and this is the team he cheered for as a kid, and he has had success against the Montreal Canadiens. Bear with me for a second as I get to it here. I'm looking for it. Multiple points in 2 of his last 3 games against Montreal, and 3 points in 2 of his last 3 games in Montreal. So he had 3 points in 2 of those games, so 6 points overall. So he's had success a lot recently against Montreal, especially in Montreal, and this just feels like a high-scoring game. I think Pittsburgh ties Lemieux probably in the first or second period. And then probably breaks the record in the third, is my thoughts. So I'll go with Sidney Crosby over 1.5 points, which will definitely be plus money. And I'm just taking it because call it a gut feeling, but I think this is the spot for Crosby to break the record. But looking at some other players in this game, if I like Sidney Crosby to get 2 points in this game, then I probably like Brian Rust to get back on the score sheet. Had scored in 4 games in a row, did not score against Ottawa. Plus 200 for Brian Rust to score. I do think that's a great play here in this game. Not a lot of consistent goal scorers for Montreal right now, but they're facing the Pittsburgh Penguins. So there's likely going to be at least a few goal scorers here in this one for Montreal. But we'll see. What the point props look like tomorrow and that kind of thing. Wouldn't believe that after last year. I'm not sure. I've talked so much. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Nick, but it's okay. I don't think the Isles won a back-to-back last year. Really? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. We still in it? Yeah, you are. You are. Boldick goal. Okay. Noah Dobson for anytime goal or 1 point. Lean might have some action on my Habs if Dober starts. All right. I think both of us can cash. I think I can get my over Crosby 2 points, and I think Montreal can still win here in this one. Pittsburgh playing terrible. They are, especially defensively. They're giving up a ton of goals. That's why I like the over, Kelly. Because I do think it's going to be high scoring, but this is just a good spot for Crosby in this game. This is just a good spot for him. Someone with the name Denis Butt scored. Yes, and it's not Butt. It's Boot. But you got me. Even though I knew that was not how it was said. But good job, Tommy. You got me. Denis Boot. If Dobish gets a start, Pens to score first. Dobish has given up the first goal in 25 of his 34 career starts, and I hope Crosby's involved. I hope. A nice point early on would be very nice. Sid scores most of the time against Montreal. He played in the Quebec Junior League. Mother, father even learned to speak French. Respect. Yes. Like I said, not technically his hometown team, but close enough. And he's had success against them, so... Dobish gives one up early. Sounds good to me. Gonna bet that as well. Mario is from Montreal. Retweet. Yes. See, Jonathan's right with me. Sid also 2 points shy of becoming the Pens all-time leading scorer. No better place to plus Mario. Sid over 1.5 points. Yeah, it's either here or at home would be the best places, but I think it's here. 2 goals each in regulation with Sid 1 point will be like minus 118 odds. 2 goals each in regulation and Sid 1 point. I don't hate that at all, Kelly. I don't. because I think there's going to be goals on both sides. So I like that actually quite a bit. Hit a 3-leg parlay tonight. Nice money on Aho Bennett for a third period point. There you go. Very nice. December 11th, Montreal 1-4-2. Yeah, it was a push. The total was a push there. It looks like Philip Deneau going back to Montreal. Trade alert. Wow. Okay. Don't love that because he's a great defensive center, but he shouldn't play in this game, hopefully. Hopefully. This chat gave the info out about Dobish. Yes, that is West Coast hockey. That is West Coast hockey. Kelly, I know you love that stat, so go give him a follow on X at West Coast Hockey. Jonathan gives out great stats. Great stats. And Kelly thanks you, Jonathan. Take Philip Deneau off the Wild shopping list. He goes to Columbus. Columbus? I thought he was going to Montreal. But, yeah, he's not. He's a defensive center. He's a very good defensive center, but the Wild need Crosby. Now, I know obviously they're probably not going to get him, but they need somebody like that, an impact top 6 center. Deneau wouldn't be a great impact top 6, but next up, the Columbus. I know I skipped some games. We'll, of course, get to them in the rest of the games on the slate segment coming up here very shortly. But Columbus, Blue Jackets, and the Anaheim Ducks. Columbus, -105, road dogs. The Ducks, -115, home favorites, and a total of 6.5. The odds were around -130 here for this one. It's hard. Now, I love doing this early show Friday nights for the Saturday slate, and I know a lot of people love to watch it all throughout the night, 2, 3, 8, 3, 4, 5 a.m. People are watching it, so I appreciate that. But it is hard for me to cap this game right now, just because we're through the first period. Dallas is winning 4-1. And as Jonathan mentioned, Lucas Dostal being pulled. So he could very well start this game, and he could still come out here and play badly tomorrow if he does start. But he, after having such a bad start to this game, I could see him coming out and playing very well. So I lean with the over 6.5 here in this one. Looking at previous games between these two teams, Anaheim 11-1-2 in the last 14 meetings between these teams. 6 overs and 2 unders. One game finished with 6 goals. Back-to-back games going to overtime. Instead of the over, I'm likely going to look at Anaheim. Now, Anaheim has not been playing well. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games heading into tonight, which was one of the reasons why I kind of did like Dallas, but also Dallas good in the second night of a back-to-back. I'm not sure Anaheim's stats on the second night of a back-to-back, so that is something that I would have to look at. If Jonathan, if you have it, love to hear it. If you have the stats for Anaheim on the second night of a back-to-back, but I think this is a good spot. Anaheim's dominated Columbus, and I think after how tonight's now, there's still 2 periods left. Anaheim could come back and win this game, which would then completely change my thoughts about this game for tomorrow. If Anaheim comes back and wins, then I'm probably staying off the Ducks. So to be determined here in this game. We have to see. We need more information. Have to see what happens here. Lucas Dostal is unconfirmed. Jack Reeves unconfirmed here for this game. Looking at player props here in this one. Again, we have to see how this game goes. Zach Werenski for Columbus is on a 2-game goal streak, plus 350. So if this is going to be a higher scoring game, I would look at Werenski. For Anaheim, Lacombe has been on a Lacombe and Troy Terry both have been scoring recently, but again, I want to see how tonight's game finishes between these two teams. But we'll go to the chat here. Done deal. Okay. Done deal. Yeah, it is. There we go. Agree, Terry. Sid, big night. Yeah, I think so. Ducks are 2-2 in the second half. Okay, so 500. But yeah, we'll have to see how this game ends. But if Anaheim does get their ass kicked, I'm probably going to look at them either on the money line or maybe the Ducks team total over could be a good look. I would rather Merzlikins in net, but we'll have to see. But on to the final game I'm going to break down before we get to the rest of the games on the slate segment. Seattle Kraken and the San Jose Sharks. Seattle minus 105, road dogs. The Sharks minus 115, home favorites, and a total of 6 here in this one. And this game is pretty interesting. The way it's priced here in this one. Seattle 3-1 in the last 4 meetings between these two teams. And we've seen some higher scoring games. 3 overs, 1 under, and 2 pushes here in recent meetings between these two teams. Sharks won 6-1 in the first meeting. Kraken won 4-1 in the second meeting, both in Seattle. Now these two teams head to San Jose. Seattle has lost 4 games in a row. 5-3, 3-1, 5-3, 4-2. Seattle's just not playing well. And I don't know what happened because the Seattle was playing well. They were 11-5-5 on November 22nd. They just beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. They were 11-5-5. Then they lose the next night to the New York Islanders, 1-0 in a shootout. And have since lost 10 of their last 11 games. So Seattle is in need of a change of some kind. Something there needs to be changed because when you've lost 10 of 11 games, players have likely quit on the coach. There just needs to be a shakeup here. San Jose on the other side, they've been great, 10-6-3 at home, 17-15-3 on the season. Still a young team that's learning, still going through a growing pains. Had their 3-game win streak snapped in their last game, a 5-3 loss to the Dallas Stars. The Sharks do have some injuries. Both of these teams actually have some injuries. I think we get goals here. I think the over 6 is a good play. And I think Sharks team total over is a good play. Here in this one. Macklin Celebrini has been red hot for the Sharks. So I would look at his props, whether you go with assists or over 1.5 points. His last 3 games, 3 points, 4 points, and 2 points. So really great games recently, and 3 games in a row with multiple assists. So Celebrini assist prop is probably not going to be very great odds, but Celebrini over 1.5 points would probably be a good look here. And of course, I would look at his line mate, Colin Graff, as well. And then maybe the second line with Eklund was doing well. But for the Seattle Kraken, there's one guy right now that you should be betting, and that's Chandler Stevenson. 3 games in a row with a goal. Plus 410, but he has a point now in 7 games in a row. So we'll have to see what his point prop looks like. But 7 games in a row with a point, Chandler Stevenson's playing very well. Maybe he's trying to say, hello, trade for me. I'd be a great addition to a Stanley Cup contender. Maybe that's what he's doing, and maybe it'll work. We'll have to see, but we'll have to see what happens here in this game. But this should be an interesting one to watch. I think it's going to be high scoring. The Jackets have 1 regulation win in their last 17 games. I wonder if poor Dean is going to get fired, Dean Evison. I like him, but wonder if he could potentially get fired. I wonder if the Jackets would try to get Pete DeBoer. Somebody's going to get Pete DeBoer eventually. Terry, Seattle's fake. Even back then, they gave up more goals than they scored. They don't have scores. Yeah, they're very, like I said on shows many times about Seattle, when I look at them in the preseason, I look at their roster from top to bottom, and I'm like, depth. They've got so much depth, but they don't have any star talent. And the depth doesn't necessarily come through offensively. So, yeah, I agree that they're fake. They survived because they were getting good goaltending. True. Yeah, I agree with that. Hey, Stop Geo. How's it going? Nice to see you. Chandler Stevenson ain't getting moved with his contract. Well, hey, what if he goes on like a 20-game point streak? No, that's not going to happen. But maybe Seattle would have to eat a little bit of it. But hey, you never know. You never know. Go Wings and Wild. Yes, Stop Geo. I appreciate that. But we will go to the other games on the slate segment. So some other games I did not break down. Obviously, 13 games in the slate today, or sorry, for Saturday. Close enough to Saturday almost, but games I did not break down. St. Louis and Florida. Florida's won the last 3 meetings between the teams. No overs, 3 unders, 1 push in recent games between the two teams here. And Boston Fleet did lose. So to recap that, Boston did end up losing 5-2, unfortunately. But back here, what was I looking at? Oh, back here for a second. St. Louis, Florida. St. Louis plus 150, road dogs. Florida minus 180, home favorites. Obviously, the Panthers off a huge comeback here, 4-3 win in the shootout against Carolina. They were down 3-0 with not too long to go, and then ended up coming back and winning that game. So that's a huge comeback for Florida here Friday night. Now they head back home because they were they were at home today as well. So staying at home, no travel. But now have St. Louis coming in. This feels like kind of a letdown spot after such a big comeback win against the great Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously a rival of theirs. And now they have St. Louis coming in here, a Western Conference team that's not very good at all. Florida should kick some butt, but I don't like the spot for them here in this game. Point streaks, it's kind of hard for me to look at them because obviously I don't think it's updated here. Let me see here. Oh, it is. Okay. Sam Bennett has scored in 3 of his last 4 games, plus 220, and he had 10 shots on goal tonight against Carolina. Wow. Brad Marchand is starting to heat up again. He scored in 3 of 4 games for the Panthers. So those are 2 good guys to look at. Lundell had his goal streak ended here. He had been doing really well, 3-game goal streak, but he had that snapped here on Friday. Carolina, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 5-2 in the last 7 meetings, 6 of the last 7 under 5.5. Carolina minus 110, Tampa minus 110, a total of 5.5. This should be a great game. Kind of lean with the draw. Want to know who's in net. Likely will be Pyotr Kochetkov, but I cannot make a bet on this game without knowing that. I want to know who's in net. For the Hurricanes, kind of lean with Tampa Bay here, but not enough to pull the trigger. Toronto and Nashville. Toronto 5-1-1 in the last 7 games between the teams. Back-to-back games over 6.5. The previous 5 all went under 5.5 between the 2 teams. I want absolutely no part in this game. Toronto Maple Leafs are not a team that I trust whatsoever right now. They lost back-to-back games against San Jose. Edmonton shouldn't have won against Chicago, but was gifted the win from the Blackhawks, and then lost 4-0 to Washington their last game. Nashville playing very well. Lost 4-2 to Colorado, beat St. Louis 5-2, lost 4-1 to Carolina. So in their most recent stretch here, they've won 5 of their last 8 games. There are 3 losses, 2 losses to Carolina and a loss to Colorado during that stretch. So nothing to beat yourself up about if you're losing to Carolina and Colorado, because a lot of teams are losing to those two, and you're the Nashville Predators. So the fact that you're winning that many games is great for the Preds. 3-1 in the last 4 games in Nashville. The Preds plus 105, the Leafs only minus 125 road favorite. So if I was getting a bigger plus money odds on Nashville, I would consider them, but no, not getting to anything here. We'll quickly take a look at goal streaks. Forsberg scored in back-to-back games for Nashville plus 160, but that's basically about it. Vancouver and Boston. Boston 4-1-1 in the last 6 meetings. No overs, 4 unders, and 1 push to a total of 6, but the total is 5.5. I took my shot with the over between Vancouver and the Islanders. I'm definitely not going anywhere near the total here in this one. Thatcher Demko is playing very, very well right now, but he obviously started here on Friday. So Kevin Lankinen here on Saturday, 4-10-3, 3.49 goals against average, 877 save percentage. I think Boston wins this game, but they're minus 160 home favorites, so I'd have to take them in regulation. But this Vancouver team is playing very well since the Quinn Hughes trade. So maybe that kind of lit a fire under their bums, telling them, hey, we gotta get going. But for whatever reason, they're playing well. And the final game is Vegas and Calgary. Vegas 5-0-1 in the last 6 meetings between the teams, 2 overs and 1 push. Vegas minus 125 road favorites, which looks great, but no Theodore, no Eichel, no Vegas money line for me. Is basically how it's going to go here. Vegas, not a team that you can really trust overall. Now, they're going to overtime a lot. But most of the time when they go to overtime, they lose 16, 6, and 10 on the season. The Flames have won 3 of their last 5, 8, 5, and 2 at home. They're playing pretty well right now, but ultimately nothing here for me in these 2 games. Looking at props for Vancouver, Boston, nothing really, which isn't surprising, with both teams kind of being under. Pavel Dorofeyev has scored in back-to-back games for Vegas, plus 205, and Nazem Kadri has scored in back-to-back games for Calgary, plus 230 here in the final 2 games of the night. We'll get to the comments here in just a second. If you want all my plays for Saturday, as I've said previously, hit the join button, $4.99 a month, helps keep the channel going, and we'll get you access to all of my plays on the Saturday slate. Terry, you're getting loopy. What do you mean? Like something wrong with the stream? Or me? Blues to score first and first period money line. Best of luck. Rhino, Marchie, and Bennett. They scored 3 in the third period to tie it after trailing. Yeah, which is great for them, but it's going to really tire them out, I think, here against the Blues. It's tough after such a big comeback win to play the next night, especially against a middling team. If they were playing Tampa Bay, then okay, they're definitely going to get up for that one. But how much are they going to get up for the Blues? We'll have to see. Stevenson has 5 more years after this one at $6.25 million. If you're willing to chip in on the salary, it's possible. Yeah, that might be tough. That might be tough to move. Stevenson trying to get people's attention, but no. Bill Guerin, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I would be, my confidence in Guerin would be going down quite a bit there, but if he would made that move. Taking Toronto at this cheap price, Nashville's 5-2 as a home fave, but 1-8 as a home dog. Wow. That's really interesting. Kevin Lankinen has lost 6 straight, giving up 4, 4, 3, 2, 5, and 4. Wow. Play the Bruins team total over 3. Okay, I can see that. Vegas, Calgary under. Vegas has gone under in 5 of 6. All right, best of luck. And thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All plays will be posted on the post section on the YouTube channel tomorrow around noon. But thank you guys for watching. Best of luck on the Saturday slate, and best of luck here on the rest of your bets here on Friday. And we'll see you back tomorrow night sometime for the Sunday slate. Best of luck, guys, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching.